In this tutorial, we shall be talking about comment. Comment. What is comment? Comment is a command we use in HTML, in the HTML5 in text editor to silence. Instead of deleting that line of code, we just silence it to still appear in our studio, but it will not show on our browser. We can still see it in our studio, on our text editor, but it will not appear on our browser. As we all know, whatever you wrote in your text editor, majorly inside body, is meant to appear on your browser. But you using commenting that line of code, it will not appear. It's just like using it instead of you deleting it. Just silence it. It will be lifeless. It will be lifeless in your text editor. So implying that once it's lifeless, it will not show up in your browser when you write it. So this is what I mean. So let me quickly paste this so that I will explain. Now this is it here, as you can see. Now this is what I wrote here. I wrote this one. Also, let me quickly do the indenting here. This is what I wrote here. You can see it. I wrote this. Now, so that now this is it now. This is what I wrote here too. The same thing here too. So silence simply implies making sure that what you wrote, if I run this now, all these now are the thing. Now once I run it, it will surely appear on our browser. So that is that. But if I silence a line of code or an element, it will not be deleted in my studio or in my text editor. It will not be deleted. I will just make it lifeless in my text editor, implying that it will not show here. It will not show on our browser. Let me quickly show you what I mean by silence. I mean by coding, by comment. You just press Control slash. I repeat again, Control slash. That is the command you give to it. You see that now this it here is not deleted. It's inside the text editor. But if I run it on my browser, all these will not show up again. But you can see them in our text editor live place instead of us deleting it. Let me run it. Let's run it and see. You can see that it is removed. On our browser, it will not show up, but it shows in our text editor liveless. So that is the work of commenting your line of code. Instead of you deleting it, you just use that command Control slash and you kill it, you make that line of code liveless. Aside from these two, you can also use it to make you can also use it to do your reference. What do I mean by reference? It implies that it helps us, maybe it guides us. Maybe you wrote a lot of line of code, maybe it's going to like 5,000 line of code. You using comment as a line of as guide for yourself, it will help you to know where you are or where you are to be. For instance, let me say I wrote it this way. Let me say I came here and I wrote this is where my header starts in web page. Now I've written it now and I'll comment it. Control slash. Oh, there's one thing that is Control slash. As you can see it now. So anything I wrote under it now, anything I wrote under it now, visually, anything I wrote under it, this comment will serve as a reference, telling us that anything under it is belong to my header in my browser and in my web page. So maybe I come here and I wrote header h1. The Russian incursion in Ukraine. Now, as you can see it now, this is it here now. This is where my header starts. And anything that I start writing under it, maybe I now come here again, start writing P, maybe I wrote P tag, Lorem. Let me put maybe 7 raised to power 5, and I run it this way. If I run this way and I quickly come here, you can see the Russian. Suppose I made mistake here. I made mistake. Maybe I wrote Russia and I run it this way. And I later detect that I misspelled that Russian. For me, using this comment to serve as my reference, I can easily get back to it because I've already said this is where my header starts. So I can easily look it or use it as my guidance to quickly detect where I made mistake. So that is just the importance of, these are the importance of comments in our text editor. And again, let me quickly recap it. Text editor helps us to silence what we do not want to show on our browser. It helps us to silence what we do not want to show on the browser, and we can also use it as a reference for a reference purpose, so that we can easily refer to it to that place that it can help us to detect whenever we made mistake on our browser. We can also use it as a guidance. We can use comments to help us to maybe to give another person. Maybe I gave my line of code to someone to look into, and for me commenting it will surely help that particular person to quickly understand exactly what I mean, instead of the person going from one pillar to post in search of what could have happened to my code. So that is that on comment in HTML. I will see you guys in the next tutorial.